Hey, what's up guys? Today's video is going to be a pretty sweet build that I put together with some help from a friend. This build is going to be for the Warlock and it's based on stasis turrets. The build is really good for GMs, and if you're playing during the season of the Haunted or season 17, it's going to be even better because of the revitalizing blast seasonal mod. In this video, I'm going to go over the entire build, including which abilities, aspects, and fragments to get, as well as which armor mods and stats are going to be the best, and how you use the build effectively. The dim build link is in the description below, and remember, if you enjoy this build, to leave a like because it helps my channel out a ton. To start off the build, we are choosing the Stasis subclass, and as of recording, there is only one super, which is Winter's Wrath, which summons your Stasis staff, which can freeze things and make them shatter. For the abilities, first we're going to choose the Healing Rift, that way you can heal on command. Without it, you don't have a great way to heal with this build, especially in a Grandmaster Nightfall and other in-game content. Next is going to be your movement ability, which is preference, but it seems like Burst Glide is universally the best and the way to go. Next for the melee, again at this time of recording there is only one stasis melee, which is Penumbral Blast, which just sends out a freeze ball from your staff. Next is going to be your grenade, which of course we are going to be choosing the Cold Snap grenades, which is a key part of this build, and you have to use this for the turrets. More on this later. Next up is going to be the aspects. First, we are going to be using Bleak Watcher, which can convert your grenade into a stasis turret, which fires slowing projectiles at nearby enemies. This is great in GMs because the turrets last quite a while and can completely freeze enemies, including champions, making them easier to kill. The second aspect is going to be Glacial Harvest, which creates stasis shards while freezing targets around other frozen targets. This is important because later we will be using these stasis shards and a couple other mods to earn grenade energy back. For the fragments, first up is going to be Whisper of Conduction, which lets nearby stasis shards track my location, but also gives plus 10 resilience and plus 10 intellect, so it's pretty worth. Next is going to be the Whisper of Rhyme, which gives you an overshield every time you collect a stasis shard. The more stacks of shards you get, the more overshield you get. Third is the Whisper of Durance fragment, which increases the slow from your abilities, plus you gain 10 strength. And finally, Whisper of Rending, which makes your kinetic weapons do increased damage on stasis crystals and frozen targets. Real quick, if you haven't already, leaving a like helps out the video and my channel an insane amount, and even consider subscribing if you like the content. Now the stats that I would recommend are going to be 100 resilience and 100 discipline if possible. Not only do you get the plus 40% reduction for damage, you also get an insane amount of grenade regeneration. The grenade regen is going to be incredibly important to this build. Next up is going to be the armor and mods that I'm going to be using. Reminder that some of these will differ because the stats on your armor versus my armor. First off, with my helmet, I put a plus 10 discipline mod for grenade regeneration. Ashes to assets, which is going to be to gain super energy on grenade kills. And last would be firepower. We will be running a lot of these because you can regain a portion of your grenade energy when you use your grenade while you are charged with light, and of course that takes away one stack. Next up for the arms, we have our exotic, which is going to be the Osmiomancy gloves. The special perk reads, your Cold Snap grenades have an additional charge that recharges quicker on direct impact, and the seeker that spawned from the Cold Snap grenades travels further. The main thing we want from these are going to be the extra grenade, although the quick recharge on impact does apply here as well. The mods I chose are a plus 10 discipline mod, an unstoppable scout rifle seasonal mod, which can be exchanged for anti-barrier or overload seasonal mod, really whatever you want to use here. And then I have a fastball mod to increase grenade throw distance, and then I have a second firepower mod because they stack. For the chest armor, I ran another plus 10 discipline mod, an Armor of the Dying Star seasonal mod for reducing solar and void damage, and an arc resistance mod to cover all three. Last, an elemental charge mod, which makes you become charged with light by picking up an elemental well. If the elemental well's element type matches your subclass, you gain 2 stacks, which it will be because everything we're running is going to be stasis. Time for the leg armor now. Another plus 10 discipline mod because grenades are incredibly important in this build. An Absolution mod, which basically reduces all ability cooldowns every time you pick up an orb, because grenades and your Healing Rift should be up as much as possible, especially in in-game content. And then a third and final firepower mod. Having this third mod makes you gain 45% of your grenade energy back when you use a grenade while charged with light. Very, very important to the build. And then last is going to be the Warlock Bond, which has a +5 strength on it because I'm 100% discipline and 100% resilience. It's also going to have the very important Revitalizing Blast seasonal mod, which reads, stunning a champion causes it to ignite and clears your shield stun. Basically, you can keep freezing the champions with the turrets, and then you can keep stunning them with your seasonal weapon mod. If you can do this correctly, they'll pretty much be stun lock and won't even be able to put out one attack. The third mod is going to be Solar Fulmination to help out with the ignition from the champion stuns. And then the last Elemental Shards mod, which is going to make the Stasis Shards count as Stasis Wells for us, which is going to be huge for the other mods that we had on the other parts of the armor. Now on to the weapons that I recommend. For GMs, I really recommend the exotic linear fusion rifle, the Arbalist. It can break any damage type shield, and it has a built-in anti-barrier rounds, which makes it really strong against champions, especially for a kinetic slot item. If not, then honestly, the Wither Horde is a great option always because of the constant damage on enemies. You can shoot it and then swap to your weapons for faster damage output. For the secondary, I usually recommend a scout rifle, especially if you run the Unstoppable mod for it. I think they're really good, they're really fun to use, and you can match them with any energy type. So if the burn or the matching damage type is solar, void, or arc, there's going to be one for each of them. And then for the heavy weapon slot, I enjoy running the Storm Chaser or good old Gallahorn. Sometimes I'll run a Palmyra rocket launcher, or I even have a really nice Royal Entry rocket launcher I like running. It kind of just depends on what I'm feeling like using and what the burn is as well. This build is a really, really great build, and I definitely recommend trying it out, especially if you want to run harder content like Grandmaster Nightfalls or Master Dungeon or Master Raids or something like that. It makes it super easy to run through, and it only gets better if multiple people run it together because enemies will always be frozen. If you enjoyed this build, make sure to leave a like on the video. Again, it helps my channel out a lot. And even consider subscribing to my channel for more Destiny content. And remember, the dim link is down in the description below if you need it. It's there for you. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.